Satan, Lucifer, Belial, Leviathan, Samael. This is Aleister Nacht. I've had several requests for question and answer sessions, and I think it's a real good idea. I received a lot of really good feedback from the first session, so I think I will probably do these on an ongoing basis. I usually receive and try to answer about 100 emails per week, and I think by sharing the answers that I'm giving to these individuals will help others. And so I ask for Satanas to bless you, the listener, as I answer a few questions. The first question comes from Berlin, Germany. The question is, why do I feel I'm not progressing in my satanic journey? Am I doing something wrong? Now, this is a very broad question to try to answer via email, but there are a couple of things to think about. First of all, as I have said in the past, Satanas will never give you more information or more roles and responsibilities than you are ready for. He will never overload you, and Satanas will also test his children to see if they are ready to accept more responsibility or gnosis, etc. When things seem to grind to a halt in your journey, just rest assured that things are happening in the background, and we may not be aware of those actions. Patience can be very difficult. I have answered questions about patience, and the only way you can acquire patience is by using patience. Don't ask Satanas for patience if you're not ready to be tested and use your patience. That's the only way that you can improve patience, to have to use it. And it may be a teaching moment. Satanas may be teaching you a lesson. Have faith and remain attentive. Look for signs, but don't frustrate yourself. That is not what Satanas wants you to do. Just like children who are excited to go on vacation or do something specific, it seems that day never comes. It drags by, and time almost comes to a stop. He will bring things to a resolution, and he always has your best interests at heart. I hope this helps. The next question comes from Portland. The question is, I have an important decision to make concerning my relocation. I have asked for guidance in choosing the new option or remaining where I'm at. However, I have not received a message. Magus Nacht. Do you have any ideas about this? In my experience, if a new direction is not presented to me and I have asked for guidance, it usually means, in my case, that Satanas wants me to remain in that location or position or relationship or service, etc. I would never suggest that this is true for your specific experience, but it does represent a lack of other satanically blessed opportunities. We always want things to be exactly the way we've envisioned those things. However, that may not be where your talents are most effectively utilized for the satanic kingdom. And it certainly may not be where you will be the happiest and the most satisfied. Where we get into trouble is when we try to make it happen. Think of the square peg and round hole analogy. In my experience, that never works out and usually requires a retracing of my perceived progress to align with His vision and path. If we remain aligned with Him, the Gnosis flows from the source into our lives and turns our existence into a rewarding life. If we try to make things work to our satisfaction, it may or may not work out right. You may be actually harming yourself by going in that direction, and by trying to force the issue, you may ultimately end up in a place or a situation where you have to retrace and back away, causing needless pain, suffering, and disenchantment with your circumstance. One thing that's sad is many people will ask Satanas for answers, and when they do not hear from him immediately, they proceed with their own best judgment, only to find out that is not what they should have done. And then, unfortunately, they turn their anger and their frustration toward Satanas. Remember, if you as a practitioner make a mess, Satanas is not to blame. We are all responsible for our actions. If you're going to ask Satanas for his guidance, accept his guidance. Again, if you do not hear anything, it probably means you need to stay in whatever situation you're in, for there may be something special coming in the future, and by making that decision prematurely, you may ultimately be driving yourself into a life of dissatisfaction. The next question comes from San Francisco, and it involves discernment of the Gnosis. Magus Nacht, I have received information I feel is part of the Gnosis. However, I cannot figure out what it means. Do you have any thoughts that may help me in understanding this Gnosis? The first thing that I would do is ask your guardian demon for help to discern the message. That would be step one. Remember, your guardian demon is there for a reason. That reason is to help you through the process of the Gnosis and to help you better adjust as your situations change, and they will when you walk with Satanas. Sometimes it's simply a matter of communicating your desire. It's a situation where the unsaid needs to be said. And as always, provide adequate time afterward to facilitate the response. Satanas and your guardian demon do not wish for you to live in confusion. They do not play games with you. There may be other mitigating factors and things that have to fall into place before you fully understand the piece of the gnosis that you've been given. Don't hurry, don't rush through that, and remain steadfast in your meditation. Keep the lines of communication open between you, Satanas, and your guardian demon. I hope this helps. And lastly, from my hometown, New Orleans, Louisiana. As a recovering former Catholic, I'm interested in learning more about Satanism and whether at this stage in my life it is the correct path for me to follow. Can you offer a few practical steps to learn more? I believe in life we all go through certain phases and certain changes, and obviously we're creatures of our environment. I feel for this person because being a former Catholic, like any other former established religion practitioner, they have been subjected to years of mental abuse, perhaps even physical abuse, and have really had the seeds of inadequacy planted in their psyche. Undoing those things that have been done will happen, but it's going to take a while. The first recommendation I have is read as much as you possibly can from different references. You really need to have an input from several different sources, and you need to determine which source resonates with you. If you simply try one food, you will not experience all the other wonderful treats and tastes that you would develop by trying other things. And your walk on the left-hand path is no different. I began my left-hand path journey in hoodoo, and while I love it and always will, it was not ultimately where I needed to be and felt like I wanted to be. It did not provide all the things that I needed, and I still had that sense of a hole right in the middle of my soul, and I could not feel that with hoodoo. Had I not journeyed out and began reading from different sources and ultimately looking for something that would fill that void, I may still be a practitioner of hoodoo. And while it is a wonderful art, it would not have filled my life the way that Satanas and the walk along theistic Satanism has done. We have to experiment. We have to look for different things and different sources, and from time to time, as you're feeling maybe disenchanted, or you're feeling you're just not receiving what you need, that is a clear indication that you need to look at other things. It may not mean that you need to totally abandon whatever it is that you are doing or whatever path you are following. It simply means that you need to open your scope. Look a little broader on the topography of the left-hand path. Find something that resonates with you, and you will know it when you see it, hear it, or read it. Always keep an open mind and always keep an open heart. You ultimately will not be happy until you find what fits your life. And also be aware that as you're going through changes and transitions, the people around you may or may not understand. And this is something that many people do not plan for. You need to understand and be able to communicate that you are looking, you're searching. You are trying to find what is right for you in your life, and you are the only one that can make that determination. If you are from a Catholic or other religious background of the established religions, as you're looking and delving deeper and trying to find the thing that resonates with you, be aware it may cause some friction and it may cause some issues with the people around you. What you do not want to do is sever all of your relationships on this journey. For example, I am often asked, Aleister, why do you associate with other people who clearly do not believe the way that you believe? And the answer to that is very simple. I respect people and what they believe. And just because it does not fit exactly what I believe does not mean that I cannot have a relationship with them as long as they treat me with the respect that I treat them with. I do not try to change someone's journey, and I expect that they not try to change my journey. And if that works, if that is truly a quid pro quo relationship, then why should I sever that relationship? We have too many people speaking from positions of authority today on the left-hand path that basically are acting the way that established religion acts. If you're not with me, you must be against me. If you do not believe in what I say, then I do not want to associate with you. If you said this, then you must not be part of my belief system, and I'm going to call you out. First, it's not that person's place to call anyone out. If a person does not believe what I believe, that is fine. That is their choice, and that is a personal choice between them and whoever their deity is, even the absence of a deity. But it's not my place to tell them that they are right or wrong, because each journey is unique and personal. So for this individual in New Orleans, I send you the very best. Don't be afraid to experiment. Don't be afraid to look around at different sources. It's really no one's business what beliefs you are embracing. That is personal. That would be the advice I would give you. I hope these questions and answers help whoever is listening, and I sincerely ask Satanas to bless this message, and I hope you receive a satanic blessing. Until next time, this has been Aleister Nacht. Ave Satanas.